Hey guys, MC Mora here, and as you know, with the release of Yasmin, Capcom did promise a balance patch for Street Fighter 6, and what we're gonna do today is try to predict what's gonna happen with this balance patch. Now, we just had a patch last March when Alex dropped, and the expectation was for a balance patch to come out with Ingrid. They only did the drive reversal anti-throw thing where you get like a tick of drive back, but they didn't do like a major balance patch, right? And even the Alex one was kind of very timid for a balance patch. Like it was only really Vipers that have big changes, and everyone else had like nothing burger of a change. So when Yasmin comes out, it's gonna be the 3rd of August, and by that time, Evo would have been concluded. Evo, the top 8 is tomorrow, and EWC would be over as well. So I feel like if there is a time for Capcom to try to really change some stuff, go for a serious shakeup, it is the time to do so. Now I must admit that outside of Season 1, the Season 1 patch, they haven't really shook up things that much. Like when Season 1 dropped, they really nerfed Luke, they really nerfed Ken, I would say a little bit. Chun-Li had huge nerfs, DJ had huge nerfs, even JP was at the batch where they removed his anti-air, I think. So like they did some major changes back then, but ever since that, we've kind of been about the same, right? They didn't really change stuff that much. So I'm hoping that they go for some real shakeup because around that time is where Marvel Tokens get released as well, and it's gonna be a very exciting time. It's gonna be a very exciting time for fighting games. So let's start with character predictions. Who's gonna get changed? Who's gonna get huge buffs? Who's gonna get some small quality of life buffs? Who's probably gonna stay the same? Small nerfs or big nerfs? And again, all of this is pure prediction. Now let's start with our most recent character, which is Ingrid. And I'm gonna put Ingrid in small buffs. Ingrid haven't been around for that long, right? She came out about a month from now, and or a month ago, I should say. And the general consensus, I feel like at the moment, is that Ingrid is not that great. Although I do think Ingrid have still a lot to be explored, especially with her level 2. Now, it is obvious that she came out soon. The general consensus is that she needs some help. So I'm expecting Ingrid to get buffed, but because she's just so young still, and we haven't had that much time with her, I think Capcom is gonna wait on Ingrid a little bit. I'm expecting her to get big buffs in the future, but because she's just been out for so little time, I don't see them like attaching a rocket to Ingrid and making her fly to the moon. And I will say the same for Alex. Like typically, if Alex was any other character, I would say he would be in huge buffs because we've been playing Alex ever since March. Has been out for a while, and I just saw the Punk tier list video where he said Alex is crazy tier, or like Alex tier, he's kind of random, and he is, but I also think Alex is not that good. Like he does have some clear weaknesses, and it's clear that Capcom wants the character to be featured, but Alex is a grappler. And because Alex is a grappler, that's kind of a curse. Like any other grappler, he would be here or here, about the same or small nerfs, but because Alex is DLC, he's gonna get some small buffs. Like it's kind of hilarious how that works, but I honestly don't see Capcom buffing Alex to crazy level, as you're still gonna try to be a little bit careful with him, right? Kind of like Elena. I feel like some characters have stigmas where they clearly want to buff them, but they are keeping them on a leash. They are a little bit careful with them. And speaking of characters Capcom may want to be careful with, Sagat. I do think Sagat is gonna get nerfed a little bit. The thing with Sagat is when Sagat first came out, everyone was like, Sagat is not that good. But Blaz started showing other players what they could do, and he was starting seeing results. But you have to remember that balance changes and what they decide to do with them, that takes some time to do. So by the time that Capcom buffed Sagat, he was already getting results. Sagat had an issue where his low game was not that great. What did Capcom do? Well, they buffed him because people were saying that Sagat sucks. That's kind of like what's happening with Ingrid, right? They buffed Sagat lows, and now A lot of people, including like Punk, were saying like Sagat is the best character in the game. He is clearly strong. But I don't see Capcom completely nerfing Sagat just yet. I think they clearly want him to be played. They clearly want the character to show up. He's one of the characters they have put so much love into with all of the different animations and his level 2 and such. So they're not gonna put that to waste. They want Sagat to show up. He does have a clear thing about him that is like a red flag that you can point to, like that standing medium punch +2, very suffocating, very strong. A lot of people are asking for that to be +1 or to nerf it. I don't think they're gonna go that ham on it because that would just nuke the character. If it was +1, he would be so much weaker. Maybe increase the pushback. Maybe they're gonna play around with his scaling so that he's not doing as much damage. That is probably like the route I'm seeing them go with. But I'm expecting Sagat to get small nerfs, but nothing too major. Like I don't see Sagat being big nerfed. And speaking of big nerfed, Blanca, 100% Blanca's getting nerfed. Like, it's no doubt, no shadow of doubt in my mind, Blanca is probably the character that is the most susceptible to being nerfed in this patch because Mena is showing up and Blanca players in general. I don't wanna say that it's only Mena. Like, Blanca players in general are showing up and the character is doing really well. Blanca, Mena in particular, is doing super well, did super well in Japan. A lot of people expecting Blanca to be nerfed heavily for the Alex patch. They didn't, but like I said, they're always a little bit behind. So I'm expecting that for the upcoming patch, they're gonna swing heavily at Blanca. Remember, even Season 1, Blanca was actually really good and they took some big nerfs to him. So I'm expecting Blanca to get some nerfs. For all of the characters in the game, I think he's probably the most likely to get nerfed the heaviest. But you never know. Maybe they will nerf Lily instead. Like you. You really never know. And speaking of, and this one is really unfortunate, where she is, Mai. I'm expecting Mai to be about the same. And I know it's crazy to say, but this is Capcom. Here's the thing with Mai. If it was Mura making this balance patch, if I was in charge of Capcom, I would be like, okay guys, it's time to admit that we took an L. Like, we can't design the bouncing fans in this game. We try to change the bouncing fans, but regardless of what we do, it's fucked up, it's broken, it's never gonna be balanced. Because Capcom tried to mess around with how much meter you gain for parrying. They try to change the height of like how high the fans will bounce. They try to mess around with how plus or negative it is when you're doing it point blank. And regardless of what they do, Mai is catching, winning. This move does not belong in a Street Fighter game. Capcom is never gonna tackle the issue head on. Their egos are so big that they're never gonna do that. They're gonna try to nerf the move in 100 different ways instead of going for the obvious. If it was me, and when it comes to Mai is a fantastic character even without the bouncing fan. So what I would do is I would remove the bounce without it, for all of like the non-charged fans. Like her OD fan, regular OD fans, no bounce. You have to hold it, you have to go for the charged version and make it so that the hold version or the regular version is the double hitting fan. You know, when you partial hold it, the OD fan, and she throw 2 fans only, that will become the default OD version, and the charged one will become where it bounces, and the full charge is when she throws all of them and it's a big bounce. And her level 1, make it like Crimson Viper. And speaking of Viper, I don't expect Viper to get changed that much. Viper was probably like the most buffed character in the previous patch, and I think Capcom is pretty happy where Viper is right now. But speaking of Mai, her level 1 needs to be like C Viper. It needs to be an install that is on a timer. You do that and bam, Mai is suddenly a lot more manageable. She's gonna be still really good. She's still gonna be one of the best characters in the game, but I think she's gonna be a lot more fair, and OD fans wouldn't be such a crazy mix-up tool. Because there's a lot of characters in the game with Fireball Drive Rush, but none of them feel as brainless as Mai, unfortunately. right? Because I really like Mai, but I think Capcom needs to realize that they took an L with the bouncing fans. Will they actually change it? I doubt it, but we will see. Viper, like I said, got a lot of buffs in the previous patch, so I'm not expecting Viper to get changes that much. And unfortunately, I see the same for Chun-Li as well. I recently put out a video where I talked about what I would change about Chun-Li. I think Chun-Li lacks identity. I don't think Chun-Li feels shunny. Like, she doesn't feel like she is the queen of neutral, that her normals, they don't feel broken enough. And with the changes that Capcom have been making to Chun-Li all over the past patches, they don't seem to have a direction. And that is clear for so many other characters. Like with Yuri as well, I kind of feel the same thing. With Cammy, I kind of feel the same thing. Almost with DJ as well. Like, all of these vanilla characters, I kind of feel the same way, where they're gonna randomly buff Hazanshu but nerf something else. They're gonna randomly buff like a target combo for Juri, or make it so that Cammy gets slightly better combos in a certain instance. It's all like very small changes that doesn't really push the character in a specific direction. You see what I'm saying? These characters are all quote-unquote viable. They're all quote-unquote fine. Their power level is probably where Capcom wants them to be, but I wish they would change them in a way that is fun and change them in a way that gives them all unique identity, like more unique identities. Unfortunately, due to the history of the patches and how it's been going, I do not see that happening. Maybe it will, who knows? But yeah, I don't see it happening. This next one is probably gonna be controversial, maybe. But it's for Kimberly. And Kimberly is not one of the best characters in the game. I think she's solid mid-tier. I don't think she's high tier. I don't think she's top. But specifically, the standing heavy punch into run is probably the most complained about sequence in the game. I don't know how much Japan complains about it. If it is complained about within the Japanese community, then Kimberly is gonna get got. If it is not, maybe who knows, maybe it's gonna be about the same or like some very small buffs. But especially standing heavy punch into run is something that I could see Capcom going after. Hopefully they adjust Kimberly a little bit, because it is true that this specific sequence is kind of messed up. It's really annoying. It's not fun to play against, and honestly it's not that fun to use. Maybe they could buff Kimberly in other ways. And when it comes to Kimberly, like, you have to consider Yasmin as well. It seems like these two characters are playing in the same playground, but Yasmin has the audio reversal, Yasmin has the crouching medium kick drive rush, Yasmin has the boomerang projectile. So it's like, okay, maybe the new toy have dropped and Capcom is gonna focus on Yasmin now, and Kimberly is done. Maybe that's some conspiracy theory, but you know that Toy Story Woody, where Woody is being thrown into the garbage can? I would fear for Kimberly, since this year's model is about to be released, so I don't know. I think Ryu is probably gonna be about the same. I think Capcom took some nerfs to Ryu in the most recent patch, where they did nerf his solar plexus, and it ended up being one of the most significant patches, significant nerfs in the previous patch. But because the move was very spammable, right? But I feel like Ryu currently is in a good position. He's strong, but he's not super obnoxious, kind of like he was. And I think Capcom is probably happy where Ryu's at. And I think I can see Akuma getting some small buffs. Like, I'm gonna say the same about Akuma, that he's gonna stay about the same. But I actually see Capcom giving some small buffs to Akuma. Obviously, the entire power fantasy behind Akuma is that he's the best, he's the strongest. But it's clear that with the previous patch, the ones that we're playing right now, Akuma's not that great. So And a lot of Akuma players are very vocal about it as well. So I see Akuma getting some small buffs. I think they're gonna be a little bit careful with Akuma, as they have been very careful with him since the start. So I see him getting some small buffs here and there, but I don't see Akuma getting huge buffs. But I think he's certainly gonna get buffed. Ryu is gonna get some useless here and there changes, but Akuma's probably gonna get buffed. Now this next one might be a little bit of a hot take. But I do think Luke is gonna get big buffs. Luke have been out of the Shoto rotation for a long time now. Luke was obviously one of the strongest characters during season 1. And kind of like Chun-Li, he's a character that have gotten some buffs, but they don't seem very targeted. They don't seem to have a huge niche for Luke. It's like, this is what you do. But he's been out for the rotation for a while. There is no Shoto that's being added to the new pass. So we're gonna be sticking with the same guys for a little bit. And Luke have been out of it for so long, he's not really getting played all that much. So I think Capcom is gonna try to buff Luke. I really think so. Like, of all of the Shotos, I think he's the one that is probably gonna get buffed the most. What are they gonna do about him? Well, we will see. I think one of the easiest things he could do is just improve his medium perfect, so that they don't fly over you in the corner, so that he's getting more damage out of that. We will see. There's a lot that they can do with Luke, but I expect Luke to get some changes. And obviously they do have the reference of his V-Skill 1 from Street Fighter 5 that buffed his Flash Knuckles. Maybe that is something that they could introduce if they want. There is a lot that they could do with Luke. I'm expecting him to get some love. M. Bison have been out for a while. They have been maintaining his power level for the past couple of patches. He is really strong. He is kind of easy to play, but at the same time he's kind of inconsistent, I think. But I think Capcom is pretty much happy where Bison is. Like, I probably maybe actually get some small nerfs, but then again I thought they would do that last patch, but they actually buffed him. It was actually very insignificant buffs as well, but they did buff him a little bit, so who knows. But I don't see Bison having huge changes. Like, I think he's more likely gonna stay the same. And I'm just gonna throw some characters that I don't think are gonna get changed that much. Honda is probably gonna stay the same. Marisa is probably gonna stay the same. Manon probably gonna stay the same. These three characters have been in limbo where they aren't really that good. Capcom would like buff an aspect of them and nerf two other aspects. They've been bottom 10, bottom 5 residents for far too long. But again, base roster, they are kind of obnoxious to many of the player base. So I don't see Capcom, like I don't see a world where Capcom is gonna buff Manon and Marisa to the moon. I hope they would buff Manon because she's really cool. But I don't see it. Like, honestly, I don't see it. Now, a little bit of a hot take, but I do think Ken is gonna get the big buffs as well. And I know this might angry people. I know it might angry people. But Ken is super popular, and Ken players have been crying for so long that Ken is weak, Ken is not good. So I am actually expecting Ken to get some love in the upcoming patch, especially with Sagat, and especially since Sagat in many ways is kind of comparable to Ken. So I am expecting Ken to get some love in the upcoming match. These two are super hot takes, but this is what I would think probably may happen. Zangief probably is gonna stay the same. I think Zangief he's not super strong, but he is viable, and the results have proven that Zangief is viable. And I think that is where they're aiming at with these guys, where on a good day you can have a good run, but they don't want them to be dominant, right? And I feel like that is probably what they're going at. JP is probably gonna get some small nerfs. It's clear Capcom favors JP far too much. He's still a very strong character and always is performing, always is doing really well, ever present. And Capcom haven't shown any intentions of tackling like a lot of his really powerful stuff head on. As a matter of fact, he got a lot of compensation buffs that end up being better than the nerfs that he got. I don't see him getting like huge nerfs right now. I just don't see it. The character I do think is probably gonna get some nerfs is actually Ed. Now, the thing about Ed is that Capcom did nerf Ed multiple times, right? Where every patch they keep trying to nerf Ed, but Ed just never dies. Ed just never dies. He always keep bouncing back. His base kit is so strong, he always ends up being super, super, super good. And the general opinion in Japan is that Ed is the best character in the game. Ed is super strong, Ed is super strong, and Capcom really cares about Japan. So I think they're gonna go for something major with Ed this time. Maybe they won't, but he's already one of the characters that Capcom have shown that they are willing to nerf. And if the general public opinion is that Ed is super strong, I can see them still going after him. Who knows, maybe, but that's what I'm seeing. Aki is probably gonna stay the same. Terry is probably gonna stay the same. Jamie is gonna get some small buffs. Capcom have been very targeted with Jamie. They wanna improve his drink system. And the thing with Jamie that's hilarious is that kind of like Capcom is never gonna tackle the obvious issue. I think if Jamie starts at one drink, or if Jamie doesn't have the damage penalty, he could be a lot better, but Capcom's not gonna tackle the main issue. And the thing with Jamie is that we just seen it in this current Evo, like Jamie got top 8. I do think a lot of Jamie players do downplay him a little bit, because Jamie has some crazy tools, but he's just never gonna be consistent because of the drink system. And you have characters like Mai, like Sagat, that just hits you once, carry you to the corner, throw lube you. The fact that he have to consistently give up Oki to build up, that sort of design, I don't see it ever being like, oh my god, he's gonna be crazy good. Lily is probably gonna get nothing burger of changes. Lily is kind of like Mai. It's kind of the same boat. It's like, will Capcom let go of their ego and admit that they took an L and try to go back to the drawing board with these characters? So it's like, alright, we need some fundamental changes to how these characters play to get them fixed. Will they really? I don't know, but I'm not expecting to be honest. They haven't shown that they are doing it. Guile, I think Guile... why am I making Kimberly? Why am I making Kimberly? Guile, I'm expecting Guile to get some small buffs. For some reason, Guile have been consistently getting buffed every patch. And the change to the target combo where he gets a flash kick afterward is kind of like a hilarious change. And I do think Guile is in a very good place right now. But he's one of the characters that Capcom is always buffing. And his buffs are typically decent. Like, they do add something to him. Like, there are characters like Manon who is like one step forward, one step backwards, but with Guile, they are actually improving him. So I'm expecting Guile to keep on the same track and get some small buffs. Dhalsim, I'm expecting some small buffs as well. They are clearly trying to go with the direction for Dhalsim, given the changes to his Yoga Mummy and how that works. I am expecting them to try to go for something big with him. It's actually in the nerfs, big nerfs. So yeah. That is my expectation right now. Elena, I'm gonna imagine is gonna stay about the same. Kind of like Terry, Elena is a character that have shown up. She did have some good results at Capcom Cup. She had some results at EVO. Elena is doing some work. She clearly is a specialist character, one of the few specialist characters in Street Fighter 6. She can get the job done. She's not overpowered. She's in a good spot. So overall, I think they're gonna be happy with Elena. And the same can be kind of applied with Rashid. Like, they do feel like strong characters, but they don't feel super uber oppressive strong, right? That's how I see it right now, at least. And yeah, that is pretty much about it for this prediction video. Again, these are my predictions. This is what I think Capcom may do. Like, common sense would be that Mai would get nuked. Are they gonna do it? They're probably gonna go for small nerfs or keep her about the same. Maybe in their minds are nerfing her, but she's probably overall gonna stay about the same. I'm expecting some nerfs, but probably gonna end up being about the same. This is the finalized one. Let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section below. Who do you think is gonna get big buffs? Who do you think is probably gonna stay the same? And do you think Capcom is gonna deliver something with this balance patch? I would love to hear your thoughts all about it in the comment section below. I will be leaving a link to the Patreon, Discord, Twitter, and Twitch pages in the description. Thank you so much for watching and stay safe.